Worldwide Hippies presents Hippie News and Stuff with Winston Smith and the Worldwide Hippies News Team.
Welcome everyone to Hippie TV News and Stuff for the week of December 21st. Brought to you by worldwidehippies.com, citizen journalism on the web. I am Winston Smith. Corrupt judge alert. Don't drink the holy water in the Netherlands, it's tainted. The dock is in. Japan has an honesty problem. Getting ahead with Ed Croft. Hippie goes postal. Our asshole of the week. And more. Top story. The Japanese government and all mainstream corporate media outlets declared last week that reactors at the tsunami-stricken Fukushima nuclear power plant to be in a state of cold shutdown, meaning that 9 months after the worst nuclear accident since Chernobyl, the plant has now been stabilized. Here are some corporate headlines. Well, the message seems pretty consistent, doesn't it? Safe and sound. But if one looks further into more science-based, non-corporate news sources, the outlook for Fukushima seems to be much more dire. As Worldwide Hippies reported last week, the Japan, United States, European governments, along with multinational corporations have either found a way to get around the laws of nuclear physics or they're lying. You decide. We'll be right back.
Hey, have you got your moonbeams yet? You can buy them on worldwidehippies.com/store. They're beautiful, they're magical, and they come with an adjustable necklace. Get yours today. They're going fast.
And we're back. Corrupt judge alert. Former El Paso County Judge Anthony Cobos. Well, he took bribes according to the FBI. He's been denying criminal wrongdoing for years, but now former El Paso County Judge Anthony Cobos is in jail charged with fraud and bribery. FBI agents arrested him and 3 others last week in an ongoing corruption investigation. The feds accused Anthony Cobos of taking part in a pay-to-play scheme in 2007. According to the indictment, Cobos accepted bribes in exchange for voting to refinance a $40 million El Paso County debt and to terminate the former county financial advisor's contract and install someone else. Cobos agreed to accept and then accepted the bribes in the form of cash money and other benefits in exchange for his vote and influence, according to court documents. And this, does America need to redo her Constitution? Here's what the doc thinks.
What's up, Doc?
Well, hippies, or perhaps I should say, hola, paz en el barrio. Hey, Winston, thank you as ever. Bugs, you know how we do. Every year in poli-sci classes all over the country, students are dispatched to do man-in-the-street interviews with average citizens who are presented with rewritten versions of the Bill of Rights in modern language and are then polled as to whether they'd approve any or all or some of those rights in a new constitution. I did it myself in both high school and in college. Students are often unpleasantly surprised, as I was, to learn that the average person will decline to approve the 1st, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, and if they're given a chance, the 13th and 14th Amendments. So I paid particular attention when a particularly adept chap made the following remarks on Facebook the other morning. I believe that it is increasingly difficult to construct a theory of democratic constitutionalism applying our 21st century norms that vindicate the Constitution under which we are governed today. Our 18th century ancestors had little trouble integrating slavery and rank subordination of women into their conception of political order, for example. And he concluded with a sensible plea to have a kind of constitutional do-over. It's hard to argue against, hard not to agree, but I do object. The conditions under which it made the old Constitution seem possibly obsolete are also the same conditions which frankly militate against there being any chance of scrapping or rewriting that said Constitution substantially without inevitably and irrevocably reducing the number and kinds of freedoms we enjoy. I don't like to be a wet blanket on such ideas, but I gotta say, imagine Walmart in charge of the process, or Goldman Sachs. I mean, if you think the new Constitution could be drafted, which would not be infinitely more to the liking of the banksters and fraudsters, the crooks and shills and grifters of the corporate boardrooms of the world, than the one under which we now admittedly labor, well, I'd have to conclude you haven't really thoroughly thought through the implications of the Citizens United decision and how it truly altered the face of political financing or the reach and scope and strength of the corporate purse strings. I'd estimate there is exactly zero chance that the free speech clause of the First Amendment would survive a new constitution. It'd probably be supplanted by a clause protecting the right of propagandists to lie to you. You'd never hear a word about the Fourth Amendment. It would disappear without a trace, and probably the Fifth too. I mean, why should you need to protect yourself if you're not doing anything wrong? I hope you see the problem with this, hippies. Plus, to enact a new one, a constitution would have to be voted on. Regardez-vous the fate of Proposition 8 in California for the consequences of putting rights to the vote. And that was before the gloves came off with the Citizens United decision. Hundreds of millions of dollars were spent to prevent a class of your fellow citizens from enjoying the full rights of citizenship they deserve, and the people were propagandized to accept it. Sorry, you just don't vote on rights, hippies, not even at the holidays.
Thanks, Doc. Your scholarly insights are what constitutes learning. And this, they're at it again, or should I say still. According to Telegraph UK, Dutch Catholic sex abuse scandal exposed as an inquiry says up to 20,000 were victims. Up to 20,000 children were sexually abused by 800 Roman Catholic priests or lay workers in the Netherlands, an independent inquiry has estimated. The investigation by Wim Dietman, a former Dutch minister, received reports of sexual abuse by clergy or volunteers within the Dutch Catholic diocese, congregations, and religious orders. At least 105 of these abusers are still out, on the loose, and alive. Children involved in church organizations were exposed to the abuse, and the behavior of these priestly pedophiles was covered up by senior clergy. The problem of sexual abuse was known to the Catholic Church. The inquiry concluded no adequate actions were taken, nor was sufficient attention devoted to the victims. Everyone can be shocked that this history has come into this magnitude. Everyone can be taken back that the Church has lied about this and covered it up. But someone's got to say it. The Catholic Church seems to be an ongoing organized criminal enterprise and should be treated by the global community as such. Just my heathenistic opinion. Now, here is the legendary.
Alas, poor Yorick. I knew him well, Horatio. How you doing there, Winston? Now this here, if you can see it, is a crystal skull. My wife picked this up on her journeys in Arizona. It's not the crystal skull or the crystal skulls. The legend of it states that there are 13 crystal skulls. And when man is ready, the 13 will find a way of reuniting and then imparting their wisdom that is kind of held in to them as a great computer, if you will, and they will impart the wisdom and share with us. The legend states that this wisdom was brought to us by aliens. They left these with us so that when we are ready, we can get this wisdom. It's fascinating. And it became a movie. You know, basically Hollywood and, took liberties with it and everything and made an Indiana Jones movie. So if you want a little bit about the crystal skulls, you can watch that movie and get kind of an understanding of what it is, but you're probably best to do your own research. Now, the crystal skulls isn't the only thing. We've also seen other things like the Mayan calendar's 2012, and that got made into a disaster movie, even though the portent may not be for a disaster, but just simply a change of worlds. Now, the thing is that they used water for the disaster, and as I recall, the last disaster was a great flood. This has been told to us in the Bible and many other traditions. My guess is that it may be due to fire. I mean, there are great methane pockets that are being released with the receding ice packs in the Arctic, and methane is being released into the air, and that could be exacerbating the whole global warming. That's up to you to decide. Do your own research. I mean, that's what this is all about. It's just to basically get you thinking and maybe get you investigating on your own. Now, another recent one, it's been made into a book, a la Dan Brown. Jeffrey Small made this book, Breath of God. Now, the Breath of God surmises that there is this manuscript that is contained in a monastery that will unite the great religions. Now, this is based on the supposed existence of a Gospel of Issa. This tells of the time of Jesus in India during his missing years, that he was traveling in India and learning Hinduism and Buddhism. It's a fascinating story, and if you want a little more information, you can always go to ed.croft at worldwidehippies.com. Send me an email and I'll point you in some directions. Okay? So, Hollywood and novelists finding new sources in the old ways. Fascinating. Back to you.
Thanks, Ed, for that crystal clear insight, man. And this from the Daily Mail Online. Court defendant blames stolen goods in his basement on ghosts. Former police officer accused of theft stunned the courts when he blamed a ghost for the presence of stolen items found in his basement. Joseph Hughes from Mount Gilead, Ohio, faced 21 charges against him, including stealing 12 air conditioning units, a 6,000-watt generator, and a welder. But when the stolen articles were found in Hughes' basement, he gave a paranormal defense for why he didn't know that they were there. It's going to sound kind of ridiculous, but we believe if there are some kind of paranormal presences in the basement. Ghosts, Hughes said in court. Sounds kind of ridiculous, but when it comes to ghosts, I'm kind of a pussy, he said, so I never went down into my basement. But Hughes didn't stand a ghost of a chance with this defense. He was found guilty of 18 out of 20 charges. He was then spirited away to jail. Well, here, with her holiday spirit, is Hippie.
Hi, Winston. The U.S. Postal Service is facing bankruptcy. To avoid it, they've planned unprecedented cuts to first-class mail this spring. Effective January 22, 2012, all shipping services provided by the U.S. Postal Service will increase about 4.6% in cost. The U.S. Postal Service will slow first-class delivery next spring, and this will eliminate the chance for stamped letters to arrive the next day. I understand you're facing bankruptcy, Postal Service, but when does it go too far with the cutbacks? I go to the post office, get up to the counter, and one of my customs forms has fallen off of a package. I don't have any tape. I need a piece of tape about this big, just to tape the end. So, do you mind loaning me a little bit of tape? She looks at me like I've stolen her children. I can't do that. Would you like to buy a roll? I need a piece of tape, the size of a stick of gum. And you're really gonna tell me that? There's 20 people behind me. All I need is one piece of tape. Let me, by my own postal scale, put the postage on for you, have all of my customers' forms correct, do all the work for you, and you're not gonna give me a piece of tape? I mean, come on. Here's me, here's her. I can see the tape dispenser right there. Be like, can you just let me borrow a piece of tape? I guess I'm gonna have to go home and drive all the way back here for one piece of tape. Will that be all? Bitch, no, that's not all. You need to step aside and let me take care of some paying customers then. Maybe you're going bankrupt because you're an asshole. And nobody wants to go stand in line just to be punished by the postal clerk that hates her job. Alright? I don't need your tape. And, I hope you don't go bankrupt. Happy holidays. Like, come on. Next time I go to the post office, I'm going to bring them a little bit of tape, and I'm going to give them one of these. You know what? Merry Christmas. Enjoy your job and your extra tape. Back to you, Winston.
Thanks, Hippie. You should use two-sided tape next time. Oh, here's time for our Asshole of the Week. And this week it goes to Big Box Shopping Center Safeway for doing security on the cheap and then blaming the underpaid idiot that minimum wage gets you when they fuck up. And fuck up he did. Little Savannah Harp recently took a trip to the grocery store with her dad. While they were shopping, Savannah took a package of dried fruit off the shelf. She grabbed a bag of apricots, dried apricots, opened them, ate a couple, put it back, and the security guard watched her do it. Savannah's dad didn't notice his daughter's sticky fingers, but the store security officer did. By the way, Savannah is 4 years old. The guard stopped the pair as they left the store and led them back to a break room. He proceeded to tell them, "Your daughter stole and she is banned from the store, and we're pressing charges. And she needs to sign this form saying she understands that she can't come into any Safeways." Savannah can't read or write. Like I said, she's only 4, but the guard, who Safeway hires under contract, had her scribble on the paper just the same. Company officials say they were outraged at the incident and have fired the minimum wage security guard. Our policies on shoplifting are intended to protect our customers, but built on common sense. And everyone understands what common sense is, said company spokeswoman Cherry Myers. We are as appalled as the parent is. Word to company spokesperson Cherry Myers. When you pay bananas, you will always get monkeys. And that's why Big Box Shopping Center Safeway and not the security guard are Worldwide Hippies Assholes of the Week. That's it. Thanks for watching. Please visit worldwidehippies.com for more news and original articles for some of the best writers on the web. And support Worldwide Hippies by making a donation or visiting our store at www.worldwidehippies.com/store so we can keep up the howl for peace and justice. And you will see us here next Monday.